Hello and welcome.
Why are you doing that voice still?
That was weeks ago. Welcome to the Two Tunes Podcast. I'm Bo.
I'm Brandon. I'm still in the midst of it, a rewatch of the original X-Men, the animated series.
In preparation
for
of
X-Men 97.
Is that out yet?
As of this podcast coming out, I think it will have been out. But as of us recording now, I think it comes out the end of the month, end of March.
Oh, now you're reminding me of all the things that
So
go ahead.
I watched it 30 years ago,
Yeah.
like when it came out. But there's so much I did not and do not remember about it, and like different characters and things showing up, and like the continuity is all over the place with some things. I think I'm in the midst of season 3 right now, which is where the Phoenix saga happened, and then also the Dark Phoenix saga happens in the same season, but also it's like a whole thing. But then there's like a couple episodes in the middle of that where the animation style just like totally changes.
Okay.
But only for like 2 episodes, and it goes back. So I think I think there was some moving around of things and whatever. It's kind of interesting. There's also like in the first season, Cable is there.
Okay.
But he's like in the present day. Mm-hmm. But then like later in that season or in season 2, then he's also in the future like he's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Yeah. Do you know that Cable's my favorite X-Men character?
Is he?
Yeah.
Do you know who mine is?
Who?
Shatterstar.
Okay.
In the X portion of things, Shatterstar is my favorite. Yeah.
Like, I got there was a miniseries, a Cable miniseries. That was like the first comic book that I got.
Okay.
And then when I got back into it, that's when they were making Cable Deadpool comic.
Okay.
And I got all of those, and then I got the whole like Cable run of stuff. And then when they did it was a weird offshoot of it where like all of the titles like changed names, changed everything.
Okay.
So like the Cable run became X-Man.
Okay.
And it was just like Age of Apocalypse type stuff, but alternate reality. And then they okay, we'll stop this. But this title is X-Men is doing really well. So like then they brought him in.
Okay.
Who is just an alternate reality version of Cable.
Okay.
So it was really interesting. That
isn't Cable a Summers?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's his son.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's Cyclops and
not Jean Grey,
but Jean Grey from an alternate reality.
Oh, okay.
It's their child together, and then he gets taken to the future to be raised in this war.
Right.
Much like Bishop.
Yeah.
Bishop grew up in that kind of alternate reality stuff.
But also in this continuity or whatever, they're from like much different time periods.
Yeah.
Like Bishop is from like the mid to like now, not too far away from now. And then Cable's from like 3999.
Yeah.
Also, and I guess this is what his kid's name was in the comics. Do you know what Cable's kid's name is? His son?
No.
It just cracked me up because like, okay, the comic and cartoon is very clearly from the 1990s.
Yeah.
Even though his future is set in 3999 or whatever. Yeah. His kid's name is Tyler.
Okay. Which
is a fine name. There's nothing wrong with the name Tyler.
Yeah.
But you would assume in the year 3999
it would be something different.
It would be something different. But yeah, it just is really funny. He was like, Tyler. I was like,
okay.
I don't know. I expected something a little different.
All right.
You know. But anyway, so I'm rewatching it, and it's interesting. It's good, and there's some janky stuff and whatever. But,
well, they didn't really care about continuity. It was just like, here's an episode, and then
and a lot of them are like that. But and then there's like a small portion of continuity that like kind of runs through and whatever. But it was just interesting. But yeah, when all of a sudden like there was those couple episodes that had like different animation, and I was like, what? Like there's one, so it's like there's like episode, like season 3 is like, okay, here's an episode, and then like episode 2 through 6 is like a 5-part of the Phoenix saga, where they throw in a lot of stuff that happens throughout that. And then there's like 3 more episodes, and then now the one I just started is still in season 3. It's now like the Dark Phoenix Saga episode 1 or whatever, part 1. But there was some stuff with like the Savage Lands thrown in there, which had the old animation style. And there's an episode with like Longshot somehow comes to and then like Mojo tries to come like to this. They already did a Mojo episode where like the X-Men get abducted into the Mojoverse. But then like there's an episode later, again, with this slightly different animation style, where all of a sudden then Mojo's going to try to come into the X-Men's universe and try to abduct them again.
Okay, and the animation style didn't have anything to do with the plot?
No. It just was different. Right. Like Wolverine looks like everybody just looks a bit different. It looks like a little bit more maybe like they were getting some not CGI but computer something involved. I don't know all the technical stuff with it, but it just is different for like 2 episodes and then it goes back.
They were like, we need to get these 2 out. How about you guys do it over there?
I also was like there was a bunch of characters that like show up for like just briefly and like they're never named. And I'm like, wait, who's that guy? And like they sort of show Deadpool and like some other characters at times, but then never really make mention of them. So it's been interesting.
The 90s were an interesting time for comics.
Yeah.
Like what was happening were like the best of the best were working at Marvel and working on X-Men stuff. And then they're all like, wow, we're too good for this, man. We're not getting paid enough. We're doing all this work. Let's start our own company.
Yeah, just where Image came from.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And then they would be like, no, draw like the person before you. It's like, and the person before me was the guy who changed the way he drew from the person before him and then made a lot of money and then went away. Yeah. So why do you want me to draw like that person? Why can't I draw like myself? So yeah. Speaking of cartoons, did you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon?
Atla.
Did you watch Avatar?
No, I've never seen. No.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Nor have I seen the new show, which is apparently not great. Have I seen the live action movie, which is really bad. Apparently.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's there. So I watched that, and yes, there are a bunch of problems with it, and I think it's more about
it's too woke. Go woke, go broke.
What?
I don't know. That's what people say about anything they don't like.
Okay. So did you actually hear people say this? Because I can see people being like, oh my God, there's too many of not white characters. And like, because it doesn't take place
No, it's more about
world.
like character traits of people. I don't know. There was a headline I saw that were like the creators or the writers or whatever were like, we're going to change this guy to be less misogyny or less misogynist or whatever.
Okay.
And it's like, but that's his arc. You're just going to get rid of his arc, I guess. I don't know. This is like things I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just reading things. One character, they're like, oh, he's kind of like a jerk and a misogynist, but then he like learns and grows throughout the series, and then is not that way. That might be. But they're like, yeah, we're going to get rid of that because that's a bad trait. And it's like, yeah, it is a bad trait, but like the whole point is that he's that way first.
But they're the same people who wrote it, like who created the first part.
So it's not. They brought those people in originally, apparently, and then got them out. Because I think that was part of the thing, like, oh, we're going to do this live action series. Look, we got the original people. Isn't this great? And then they like slowly like just pushed them out the door.
Okay.
And did their own
I was unaware of that.
Yeah.
I think so from my viewpoint.
But there were things like that. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Is you're taking a 22, like it's like the first season of this, which is 8 episodes, but each one's like an hour, each episode's an hour long, is the first season of the cartoon.
Right.
Which is like 20 episodes, but each one of those are like 25 minutes. So we'll just say a half hour.
Yeah.
So you're like not doing it proportionally well. And they are taking out all of these, like, because there's a bunch of filler episodes or just like feel good episodes, which you wouldn't think would mean anything, but it does. So like, and they throw in some weird things, which is like Secret Tunnel. I know you have no idea what that is, but there's a song.
Okay.
And like, yeah, they did that, but it was like a whole episode of doing this. And they just kind of like threw in these characters just in a thing. And then like, oh, and then this. And it's like, they didn't really discover it. And it's weird. So like they're mashing up things and putting like, oh, that character, this character, this character. Well, they were kind of all around in this one place, even though they were different times in the show. And then they just put them all into this one episode. Okay. So mashing things together. Yeah. And also there's no fun. It's all serious.
Yeah. The Weekly Planet did a breakdown of it, which I listened to because I was just like, I'm not going to watch this, so I'll just listen to them talk about it because I don't care if it spoils it for me or whatever.
Planet?
No. But they were saying, like, some of the things that are best about this show are just things that they just took from the cartoon. Because it's like, yeah, that's what that is. And then some of the things, like, they felt like were missed is maybe, like, what you're talking about, like Aang's whole thing is, like, he's got to go on this journey, and, like, then he meets all these characters and, like, learns these different things along the way. And like, he just doesn't do that in this.
Exactly. He did not learn anything.
Yeah. So, and then, like, the team-up aspect.
Yeah, Team Avatar.
Or whatever. I don't know. Like there's a team-up. There's certain characters team up by the end or whatever. But he's like, they said there's no, like, build up to that. It's just kind of like they just, like, threw them together. I don't know. Again, it's a thing I have not watched and don't really know.
Yeah, because you haven't watched any of it.
Yeah. But it'll probably get another season. If
it doesn't, it's like what was the movie? The Golden Compass. With the guy who played Bond.
Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Nicole Kidman's in that movie?
She is.
It was Polar Bear.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a talking polar bear. He lost his armor. They made a movie out of it, and it only got the one, even though it's like a trilogy of books.
Right.
And it's like, what do you?
What was the thing? Did they make a?
They made an HBO TV show,
which I watched.
Did you?
The first season of, I think.
Yeah, the second season had.
I don't think I watched it.
The guy who did In the Heights and
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in season 1?
I think so. Yeah, he's in the show.
Yeah,
we'll just get there.
Yeah.
He's in the show.
I think I watched the first season. Is it the same? It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. They just like
world
redid
or whatever.
It.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What is it? I forget what it's called, because the Golden Compass is like the first book, and then there's like the subtle knife.
It's whatever the show is called, probably.
His dark materials or something. Like that.
Jesus allegory or something.
Yeah, it is. It's basically saying there is no God.
Right.
Like that's the gist of the show, because they're very religious, and then they're like, but there is no God because we can travel between worlds and blah blah blah. I don't know. That's what I heard. Yeah. I don't really read.
That's the problem with it. Like, I like reading. I do like to read. I just don't have time, or I'm too tired.
Oh, yeah, that's the second thing I was going to talk about.
But like, so I like when they do shows and stuff. Like, it's kind of cool. But then, like, for someone like me, I'm probably not going to go read those books.
Yeah.
So I just want to see the show.
Well, there's
but then they don't do the full thing, and then it's just like, well, shit. I invested 16 hours into this thing, and they're just going to end it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I almost wish they would just, if they're going to do those things, just commit to it. We're doing 3 seasons of this thing.
Like the live action TV show Harry Potter.
Oh my God, that's going to be dumb.
It's going to fail.
Yeah.
Because they have to just constantly film. They cannot stop.
Right.
Because those kids will get too old.
Yeah. Correct.
And they'll be like, he's 25 playing a 12-year-old. It's like, no.
But I mean, like, and again, it's not my money to spend on this stuff.
But it is your money.
Netflix. Well, not for Netflix. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to do a thing like that, where it's like a series and there's like a full arc and whatever, then you should just commit to it.
Yep.
Just say, we're just doing it. We're just going to film them all. You know, do it Lord of the Rings style. Just film them all 3 all in a row.
But that is interesting, the way that Lord of the Rings was filmed, because they're like, all right, we're doing all 3 films, and they would film them.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, okay, we need reshoots for the first film, and they would do that, and then they'd put out the first film.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, we need reshoots for the second film, and they'd come back, and then so like they took forever. Like, it's a huge chunk of those actors' lives.
Right. But I mean, it could still be that way, even if you're doing, I don't know.
It's also the reason that I watched Lost, was because of Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Because
the one actor who's
Dominic
in both?
Yeah, Dominic Monaghan. Or
okay.
not,
how did that work out for you, watching Lost?
I liked Lost.
Watching a show that they wrote as they went along and didn't really know what they were going to do.
I liked it.
Ended it that way.
It's okay.
It's the Michael Scott thing of, like, sometimes I start a sentence and I don't know where the end of it's going to be.
It's very true. So sometimes you, like, TV shows should, this also, actually, no, I'm not gonna give you, I want to know your opinion.
Okay.
Should TV shows evolve throughout the making, and I'm just talking about, like, of the season, not like the evolution.
We've talked about this.
Probably. Do you think it should evolve throughout the season based on...
No.
Okay.
Based on audience feedback and all this stuff? No.
Okay. So that means that you... No, this isn't true. This is me jumping to conclusions, and I apologize. But what you're kind of getting at is like they should write the show, start to finish, produce the show, start to finish, and then put it out.
Yep.
Okay.
Not in all cases, but in some cases.
So what that means is that the writer's time frame is shortened. Because on network television,
sort of,
they have a job from like July to January.
Right.
They have a job. If the Netflix write the show, will produce the show, you have like maybe 3 months of a job instead of 9 months of a job. Because that is one of the things that the writer's strike was building towards. It's just like, you've shortened our job time.
Right, yeah. No,
and then I have to go find more jobs to fill that time.
Right.
And then what if those times overlap? And you can evolve the show based on the reaction of audience.
Yeah.
Of like, we really liked this character. And it's like, that character was supposed to die in the first episode.
Yeah.
And people liked him, so we kept it going.
Yeah.
Now, if you have an idea of like, well, this is what our first arc, like basically an outline. So like Buffy.
Okay.
Every season they had like, this is what the season is going to be. And like whatever happens underneath that can change. But
we still have to get from A to B.
Yeah, we got to get from A to B.
Yeah.
Where Lost was like, we got to get to A to whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it was much like, this is cool, let's throw this in. And that was the problem with Lost. But I liked Lost because, as an audience member, you had no clue what was going to go on.
I'm not saying every show should be like that, but some things should be.
If they're adaptations, then you need to just write the show.
Yeah, that's... Well, my main point, though, with the adaptation thing, though, is that, like, you should just have to commit to it. There should be something... We should write a law.
We should not write a law.
You just gotta commit to it.
Okay. All right. Now, you were talking about books.
Yes.
And reading books.
I'm reading a book currently.
I'm reading a book, and I need to finish it by today.
Okay.
Because I'm going to get another book in the mail today, and I'm going to have to start reading it because it's for my class that I'm taking, which is called Music, Business, and Brand Promotion.
Okay.
Which I hope to learn a lot from.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not super boring. I'm guessing it's going to be super boring.
Probably.
Like, oh my God.
Could probably apply to a podcast.
Yes. Yes, we could. Maybe get more than 20 subscribers.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're subscribed to this podcast, come to the Discord and tell us that you're subscribed to it or that you follow us.
If I just keep saying,
it'd be weird. But I am reading Andrew Huang's book. Make Your Own Rules. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
It's very good. It's making me want to...
YouTube guy?
Yeah, YouTube guy.
Yeah.
And his
talks about music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who am I thinking of, though? I'm thinking of him, but there's somebody else I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he's very, very interesting about how he did this, because he's been doing this for 20 years. What he's doing. He hasn't been on YouTube for 20 years, because I don't think YouTube is 20 years old yet. It's getting close. But it basically is a biography, but also like advice.
Okay.
So the way that he worked is like, at one point, him and his wife, they saved up like $10,000 each, and then they just took off, like sold everything. I wouldn't say everything, but like they sold a whole bunch of stuff, put a bunch of things into storage, sold their house, and then just traveled.
Okay. Eddie Huang is who I was thinking of also. He's a food guy.
Gotcha. Yeah, but Andrew Huang, Canadian.
Yeah.
It's all connected. Really cool. He's partially deaf.
Oh.
And he's been deaf for like his whole entire YouTube career. And the stuff that he does at like in the book, it kind of goes through, and he does this in one of his videos where it's like At some point, he got offered a job by YouTube.
Okay.
And like $100,000 a year job.
I'm gonna try to fix this cable again.
Yeah. Well, what you need to do is you need to wrap it around.
Nah.
Okay. But he turned it down to focus on his channel.
Okay.
And then in the long run made more money because of it. Not just because of YouTube, but because of all the things that he was doing. And there's a section in the book where it's like, here's kind of like phase one of him. And like, this is the breakdown of where all his money was coming from. Mm-hmm. And then the second stage where everything was kind of even, his music, his YouTube, and his commissions. Mm-hmm. And then at some point then sponsored content, or like he would make commercials.
Sure. Like
video for car companies, and they'd be like, here's $500,000, go make this video.
Yeah.
Which he would do anyways, and it was kind of like building within what he does.
Yeah.
Really interesting book. I needed to finish it today. I told myself that, and like 50 pages left.
Oh.
You can knock that out. Yeah. Well...
Go sit in your car.
Oh my God. If I sit in my living room, like what's been happening as I've been reading it, and then Caprica's like, Dad, blah, 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 I'm bored, blah, 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 why don't you go read? Blah, blah, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I'm reading, blah, 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 and just won't shut up.
Yeah.
Because she just wants us to subscribe. Yeah. Anyways, so that's, what's really funny is last week's episode was about this long when we took that break.
Nice.
But we did have some glitches at the beginning.
We did.
Where we didn't record the first 20 minutes of the podcast. Anyways, you're first. This is the most normal thing that you could have chose, but also the most different of anything we've ever had.
Yeah. Because it's a show tune?
Because it's a show tune.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope I got the right version.
It has to be this. It has to be the correct version.
I know it is. It's the 2019.
Yeah. Which I'm trying to find like info specifically about. So I believe
I Can Fly.
Oklahoma is considered the first of what we like think of as like modern musicals. Like, it was not the first musical. Like, musicals had existed prior to this.
Okay.
But it's sort of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first of Rodgers and Hammerstein's collaboration.
Okay.
And I think it's sort of like, it's that demarcation line of like, everything before this was kind of similar, and then everything after this changed in a way.
But that means also that this is the first season of Schmigadoon.
What? I didn't watch that show either.
Oh, you should watch that show. You'd love that.
Okay.
So the show Schmigadoon is these people go into a world that is musicals. And it's musicals of this time.
Okay.
Because then, like, the next level is, like...
They hit the 70s and 80s.
The 70s and 80s.
Because they do Chicago, right?
Yeah, Chicago. Yeah.
And then that show also stopped. They canceled that show, right?
Probably.
I think they did.
I'm guessing.
It got canceled.
Everything gets canceled, kids. Yeah. Because it's not a remake or a sequel or built on existing properties.
Yeah.
But this is kind of... Anyways. Go ahead. Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
Okay. But anyway, this is considered the first like modern musical, I guess, because of I think the story and structure, and like it was like everything was written for this. It wasn't like it's just a hodgepodge of things, and like, do you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't. Is there a book that I could read that would explain
probably
what you're talking to me about? So
it's just kind of always been my understanding about that. Of like before this, musicals were like a lot more hodgepodgey, and like there was a lot more like recycle. Like, okay, this show folded, but we like that song, so we're gonna take it, we're gonna stick it in this show, and like do this thing. And it was a lot more like there was story and stuff, but like not as well put together and well thought out.
Yeah.
But this was like the first one that like did it right, I guess. I don't know.
I've never seen this show.
I technically have not either. I think I've seen parts of it. We put it on at Hershey my freshman year, and I wanted to be on the stage crew because this girl I liked was on stage crew, and my mom knew that, and she was like, "No, you're not going to do stage crew just because that." She's like, "You can audition for the show, you can try out for the pit or whatever," and I just didn't either because I think it was too late by the time whatever. So,
what is the show? Oklahoma. Sorry, Oklahoma.
A confident cowboy competes with a surly, mysterious farmhand for the honor of taking a lovely young farm woman to the dance.
Super G-rated.
Yeah.
When does it take place?
It is an adaptation of a novel called Green Grow the Lilacs.
Mm-hmm. What's it about? I mean...
I just told you what it's about.
Yeah. When does it take place?
Well, the play is from 1931. It takes place in 1906.
Mm-hmm. What was Oklahoma at that time?
A territory, probably.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, or...
I know a little bit about this.
Indian territory. Sorry, Native American territory.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You know a bit about Oklahoma? Like the state of Oklahoma? Or like the show, the musical?
Both. Well, I don't know all about... I mean, the state is... It's... As far as states go with reservations...
No, I'm just kidding.
with reservations, Oklahoma is majority reservations.
Okay.
And when we think of like Native American reservations, we think of the Southwest.
Yeah.
But
or like
almost
northern middle, like Montana.
Yes.
The Dakotas, things like that.
Yes. Yeah. We do not think of Oklahoma. Well, I don't think of Oklahoma until you look at a map of Oklahoma and be like, oh my God,
I guess that would make sense.
Half of it is a reservation.
Yeah.
There's 2 reservations. And it was kind of like where they landed when the United States decided, we're going to take your land.
Move everybody out.
And we're going to reserve this land for you guys.
Yeah. Because they didn't think there was anything there. And then people struggle. Isn't this Killers of the Flower Moon?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I have not seen. But I did just listen to an interview with
I want
Lily
to see
Gladstone.
it, but it's 3 hours long.
3.5 maybe?
It's very long.
Yeah.
That's my
What
problem
songs do you know from Oklahoma?
Oklahoma,
So
that's it.
The title song?
That's all I know.
Oh, What a Beautiful Morning?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the Surrey with the Fringe on Top?
Is that a Beyonce song?
No. People Will Say We're in Love. Do you know that one?
No.
Really?
You
haven't heard it at least once?
That I know of.
Really?
That I know of.
Are you sure? Because it's the song we're going to talk about today.
Okay. By the way, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 reservations.
Okay.
In here. And it was featured in Echo.
Was it?
Yeah.
Is that where she went?
Except I don't think Echo was actually filmed in Oklahoma. I think it was filmed not next door, because next door is Arkansas.
Okay.
But a couple states away in Georgia, I think. I don't really know.
Okay.
Anyways. Oklahoma, where the blah, blah, blah.
So anyway, I should have looked up more about this. But this is from the 2019
Broadway cast recording. So like it was a redone version. So it was more like it was done at the Circle and Square Theater, so I think it's like theater in the round kind of thing. Okay.
And then it was also a lot more like took it back to like what. So it's not like a full orchestra. It's more like bluegrassy, I guess, if you will. So more like fiddles and banjos and stuff like that. But it was really celebrated. Like it was really done. Really well done. I have not seen this show in any capacity. Just I know most of the songs, but I have listened to this cast album so much since it came out. Something about it just really like. I really, really like it a whole lot, and I come back to it periodically, which is really interesting for a show that I've not seen. Because I don't listen to shows generally that I haven't seen. I think I just know enough of this music from doing various theater things and like just hearing enough of it, and some of the things have become like Surrey with the Fringe on Top has weirdly become like a little bit of a jazz standard as well. Like enough people have done it.
Most musicals.
Yeah, but like that's kind of an odd
jazz
song to kind of make its way through. But so yeah, this is just one I like. I think around this time as well, or maybe like the summer before this, like this came out in 2019, so like maybe the summer before this, I sang like an Oklahoma medley at a thing I did, like a summer Broadway thing. And so I was like listening to different versions of stuff. I don't know. Somehow I latched onto this one and really like it. So this is People Will Say We're in Love from the 2019 revival of Oklahoma.
Why do they think up stories that link my name with yours?
Why do the neighbors gossip all day behind their doors?
You should get Carney Reeves to play that.
Should get what?
Carney Reeves?
Who's that?
Wait, the guy who played Orpheus. Or maybe his name is Reeves.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Reeves Carney. My bad.
Okay, I don't know who that
He's a Broadway singer.
is. Okay.
He Broadway originated the role
Of Orpheus.
in Hadestown.
Oh, okay.
And also Spider-Man / Peter Parker in Turn Off the Dark.
Gotcha.
He's got a nice high voice.
Okay.
Falsetto.
Who laughs at your jokes?
Don't sigh and gaze at me.
It says a 7-member hootenanny style band, according to this one particular review.
Yeah, I was listening to it because we joke here about what musical are we doing? And I'm like, Oklahoma. Not really even knowing what Oklahoma is.
Yeah.
But now that I'm listening, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to play this at all.
Because it's really beautiful music, though.
I would be playing banjo.
What?
And
You wouldn't do this version, though. You would do the original, full orchestrated.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. That was something special about this particular version.
gotcha.
Is that they did this small band kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You did not clarify.
No, I did. You weren't listening. And I think that's part of what I like about it. Because this music totally fits with that. That's what they were going for, right? I should pull up the original of this to hear.
Maybe.
My favorite pie. Granting your wish, I carved our initials on that tree. Just keep a slice of all the advice you give so free. Don't praise my charm too much.
Lap steel.
Yeah.
Don't
Or is it pedal?
I don't know, man.
Different things, man.
with me. Don't stand in the rain with me. People will say.
I keep trying to find if this is on vinyl, and as far as I know, it's not.
Don't take my arm too much. Don't keep your.
I also really want to sing this with somebody with this instrumentation and stuff.
Your hand feels so grand in mine. People will say we're in love. No, don't dance all night with me till the stars fade from above. They'll see it's all right with me.
Should do a pop punk version.
People will say
Well, it's funny. What got me listening to this again recently is there's an album by Claire Daly and George Garzone, 2 saxophone players.
Yeah.
And they did they did an album together, a live album together, and they do a version of this tune. And that's what got me listening to it again recently. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Are you going to play the orchestral version of this?
Well, I'm going to play sort of the original.
Yeah.
This is from the movie. So already
Yeah, I'm already
full string section or whatever.
I can imagine this already.
Yeah.
Why
neighbors gossip all day behind their door.
Like more traditional
Yeah.
Broadway and whatever. Like again, like yeah. No, Oklahoma would be a good show. Like it's got really nice music and whole ballet dream sequence and different things. Again, I know like enough about it. I think just from knowing the songs and different things, but
Okay.
so I'd be curious. I'm sure there's I don't know if it's like widely available. There's a whole thing like where they record Broadway shows.
Oh yeah. For archival
purposes, but then like you can never see them unless they do specific releases and whatever. Like there should just be
a library that even that if you,
playbill.com like whoever, you know what I mean, like even the Met like the Metropolitan Opera, you can watch all their stuff. You just have to subscribe to their site.
There's a streaming.
Yeah.
There should be a Broadway streaming service.
That's what I'm saying.
And as long as it's like like they would.
Yeah.
But do they own the rights to those shows?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know who,
or are they just recording it for archival purposes and be like, we just want it because like, of history and like these.
Yeah.
And how often do they do them?
But they record them. I think they do like quality recording. You know, I don't know. Like with the Hamilton thing.
Yeah. Well, because.
But I mean, he was able to put that out because he owns it and whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. There should be a way to do it. It's annoying that it's not. You know.
Agree.
So, but I would like to see. I tried to go see this version, and then just like didn't have time or whatever. Because I'd heard like good things about it, and interesting things. So yeah, but I love this album. I listened to it a whole bunch. So there you go. What you got?
I got Björk.
You
Or
got Björk.
No.
Björk.
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 Guðmundsdóttir.
That's her full name.
Guðmundsdóttir. She always says Björk like jerk. That's how she tells people to pronounce it. It's like jerk.
Well, this is
Björk.
Okay.
Björk.
So, there's a who's the guy that runs Patreon?
The guy from that band. I should move this off of that box.
Yeah.
Real loud.
But anyways, there's a guy and he runs Patreon,
Yep.
and him and another guy, they have a podcast called Dead Wax.
Is it the other guy from the band?
Yeah.
What's the name of the band? Scary Pockets.
Yes. What's the other band that they're
Jack something is his name. They also have Pamplemousse, which is him and his wife.
in? Yeah.
Which my friend Lauren sings in sometimes. Really? Yeah.
Scary Pockets. It's that guy,
Jack something.
Jack Skellington. It's not Jack Skellington.
I was going to say Jack Stratton, but that's the guy from Wolfpack.
Come on, why can't we just get a Wikipedia? They've got a Wikipedia or a Patreon.
I was going to say.
Boo.
Runs the world.
Girls.
Jack Conti.
There you go.
Sam
Anyways.
Yam and Jack Conti. Those are the guys.
Okay, so they do Dead Wax, and what Dead Wax is they invite a guest on, and then they talk about a song.
Okay.
So like
The song that person wants, or a
Yes.
song that they do.
I don't know if they chose it or if the guest chooses
Okay.
it. So in the first one that I watched,
Jack Conti and Ryan Lerman, by the way, both of Scary Pockets.
Okay. So the first episode that I watched, I forget I know who the guest is, but I can't think of his name. He's also Canadian, I think.
Alan Thicke.
Alan, good guess. man.
R.I.P..
Good poll.
Dave Coulier.
Stop. But they
Jim Carrey.
Justin Bieber.
Everybody from SCTV.
Any more? You gonna interrupt me?
More Canadians?
I don't care.
Hang on. No, go ahead.
Canadians, not Bill Murray. So look, they're even on Scary Pockets. They have Dead Wax, Jack Conti, and Ryan Lerman.
Yeah.
Are joined by musician friends to help break down what's going on in their favorite music.
Okay.
They dish out production, harmony, composition, theory, vocal performance, and everything in between. I forget but the first episode that I watched.
So like a way better version of our podcast.
Yes. Well, they listen to the song, they take notes,
Sure.
and then they talk about it, and then they like play.
Oh.
They play along with it.
Sure,
And be
yeah.
like, oh, listen to this part. And it's like, oh, what key is that in? Oh, it's in this key.
Like what we did for like the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Yes, exactly. I'm just,
When we didn't have lives because it was a pandemic.
it's so true. Oh my God, I need a break.
Do you ever wish for that?
A pandemic again?
Yeah, every now and then, like
Kinda.
when this time of year rolls around, I'm like, you know what I could go for? It's a global pandemic. Not as large a scale, not the deaths, all that other stuff. Just
Yeah,
like
just the stay at home.
let's all just stay home for like 2 weeks.
Just, what was the thing? Like
Flatten the curve.
flatten the curve. There you go.
Yeah.
It's my that's the next podcast.
Did you see the new CDC thing?
No.
They're just like, yeah, if you get COVID, it's fine. Just go to work. Go to school.
Okay.
Why?
I don't know, man. I'm not a doctor. So, anyways,
CDC recommends don't bother checking yourself. Just wreck yourself.
that's a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first one, the first Dead Wax that I watched, they were talking about a Sting song.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is really cool. And I'm like, I should watch more of these more often.
Yeah.
And then the next one had, God, I'm drawing a blank. She's been on this podcast before. Maggie Cunningham.
Madison Cunningham.
And they decided,
Friend of the podcast.
friend of the podcast, and they decided to, they covered Venus as a Boy
Okay.
by Björk.
Björk.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. I was like, I should really like listen to Björk.
Okay.
I'm going to just call it Björk. Her Björk.
Okay.
She can come for me if she wants. Call me up.
Bo. This is Björk.
Oh my God, that's so... anyways,
What's that SNL? That was an SNL thing, right?
probably.
Weekend Update. Probably. She's
Probably.
Like, they're dressed in like the swan dress.
Yeah. Was it more recent?
Sometimes I throw nickels
I don't-
in the oven, and it is music. It is not a recent at all.
to clean this
but I'm
mess.
fairly certain that's like a line. that she says.
Probably. So she has such a unique singing style.
Sure.
And I just like, I wanted something off this record, but there's one song that I like want to play, but it's like, it's weird. And I know that like Björk is weird, but it's like weird in the context of the album. It just sounds like what is going on? Like it doesn't sound like anything else on the record. And it also says that it's a live version,
Okay.
which I'm like, this isn't live. It's there's more to life than this.
Live in studio.
It just says live version, but then when you other versions, it's like live from the something bathrooms,
Okay.
and the whole thing just sounds different. Like the mix is weird. Like her vocals are like really really close, kind of like what we sound like.
Yeah.
And then the music feels like it's in the other room. It's the fourth track, but I was deciding I've not listened. Like I've heard a bunch of songs, but I've never really dove in and listened
I
to
know
all
maybe
the way
like
through.
2 songs.
You know, Human Behavior, and you know,
Well, now I know 3 songs because I listened to the Human Behavior for this podcast. But I did not know that song prior.
Oh So Quiet. You didn't,
So Quiet and Big Time Sensuality. Those are like the 2 that
Okay.
I know.
So Human Behavior was like an MTV 90s staple. Alternative rock. Like the video is there.
It missed me, or I just wasn't into it.
The video is really weird.
Was it 93?
93.
I still wasn't probably hip to MTV yet.
Yeah.
The 10.
The video is really cool. It's like weird and trippy. It's like this teddy bear like running through the forest, and like a moth is doing some weird shit, and she's like eating spaghetti.
This is her
something.
first.
This is her debut.
The album is called Debut.
Yes.
This is the opening track.
The opening track. This is what people were, and it probably. I don't know if it was the first single, but it was up there as far as what she had been doing. She also was in a band previous to this called the Sugar Cubes, and like they broke up like right like before she was 21.
Okay.
Which is like a pop group and has her. She's so unique. I don't even think like I could tell you. Maybe Aurora.
Okay.
As far as like singing style,
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah, I could hear that.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's only recent, where it's been like 30 years since Björk
Human
came out.
Behavior was the first single.
But I decided to like dig into to listen to this album. I sat on that couch, which is in this room right here, and then just listened straight through.
Okay.
Mr. Deal came in and was like, "Are you in your 90s girl bag?" I'm just like, I just want to listen to this record all the way through. And people keep interrupting me. And also, by the way, there's this is the only song that I knew off this record. Was Human Behavior. But there were 5 singles. What was the other one that you said that you knew?
Big Time Sensuality.
Oh, that's off this record as well. And that was in November of 93. Anyways, so this is Björk. Where are we? There we are. And not that, because that's not the podcast. This is the podcast. Here we go. And there's like cool sample-y stuff. On this album isn't like this. What would you categorize this as?
Genre-wise?
Yeah.
This song or what?
Yeah, this song.
It would sit. This is where before alternative rock.
Yeah.
Like there was just like kind of like alternative.
Yeah.
That's what I would put this on.
Okay. Would you put this as dance at all?
I mean, I guess, but not really.
So like some of the songs on this record are dance tracks.
Sure. I tend to think of her stuff being somewhere between this and like dancey.
Okay.
But again, I don't really know a lot of her stuff. That's just what I would think more of her things would be like.
What word did she just sing?
I wasn't paying attention.
It was uncertain. Uncertain.
According to Wikipedia, drew from an eclectic variety of styles, including electronic pop, house music, jazz, and trip hop.
Yep. Like the lyrics and the way she delivers the lyrics don't really, they're not simple.
No.
And I like that about it. It's like you don't know what she's singing about because it's like the words are stretched and the syllables are not emphasized on what you would normally in English. And
I think that's the advantage of a non-native speaker.
Exactly.
Because while she does know what she's saying, it's still quite literally foreign to her, and so like she can take more liberties. Where I think if you and I tried to do that, it would sound more contrived.
Yes. And I like at this point where like the vocals split. And also when she sings, like the recordings, they're not perfect.
Yeah.
There's very much like breaths in there and explosives and just like wrong notes, sharp, flat, and it's like no, like I'm singing, like pure singing.
Yeah.
And then like it feels like they could end this soon, which would probably like the radio edit, but there's still like another minute of this.
Yeah, when I was listening to it, it did feel like it kind of just kept going in some ways.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's a part where it like fades out and you're like, oh, that's the end, and then it comes back
that
in.
was the part where I was like,
right here.
oh.
So it's like, oh, this could be the end. Where that sound reminds me of MTV.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they maybe took that, MTV took it and like used it as the sound for one of their
interesting
news. Like this is MTV News. That.
Yeah.
Just that hit.
Yeah. The song was apparently parodied on Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Okay. And then we're back. There's definitely no logic. Even
also,
to this song.
Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Talked about it, and it was on an episode of the Gilmore Girls.
Yes. All right. So, getting that, I'm just going to play that there's more to life than this live version.
Okay.
Because it's weird and awesome. So, like, the whole record sounded like that. They'd all kind of fit.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, like it's weirdly, it's not clear.
Yeah.
And it definitely sounds like, oh, I'm in like a
diner. Coffee shop, whatever.
Oh, I was thinking a concrete building.
Oh.
Like, it sounds bad.
Yeah.
In comparisons to what it is. And her voice is right there, right in front of us.
It's getting boring. There's more to life than this.
Now, did you listen to the Sugar Cubes at all?
A little bit, and it's similar, but it's not as refined.
Okay.
You can definitely tell that it's Björk. It's who's singing it.
Yeah.
Because she has such a unique singing style and voice.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's our 2 tunes for this week.
Yeah.
Appreciate you making it this far and talking to you, listener.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I saw Sammy Ray and the Friends since we've last recorded on Valentine's Day. Took myself on a little date down to Philly.
Did we? We didn't record that?
I don't know.
Between afterwards?
Maybe. I think we recorded right before.
Okay.
Because that would have been, because I wouldn't have had time the next week because it was Tech Weekend.
Maybe it's because
they were phenomenal as always.
Yeah.
What was really cool, because they're now kind of like this tour that they're on, which they've been on since like the fall basically, is kind of wrapping up I would say their second chapter as a band, but they're kind of calling it like their first chapter as a band because they're going to be releasing their first like actual album.
Okay.
They've done 2 EPs, a live album, and now they're going to have like their first
full length.
Which, by the way, the single that comes out like this week, as we're talking, is awesome. It's so good. They played it live.
Cool.
But it was cool to hear them kind of rework some of the things that I've been listening to now for like 4 years, 5 years that they've been around. Because I think for them too, like they've only been playing the same. What did she say? She was like, we've only had like 15 songs. We have 15 songs out, and 3 of them we didn't even write. And so they've been playing essentially like the same 12 songs. Yeah. For the last 4 years and whatever, with some covers and some different things in there. But it's like now they're going into this new phase, and she was like, we're gonna double essentially like our output. Yeah. You know, like with the new album and stuff. But anyway, all that being said, it was kind of cool to hear them like rework some of their older songs, or like just like flow from one into another, almost like medley-ish. Like they would do the whole song, but then like go into the next one kind of like straight away. And it's just kind of interesting to hear that, and then hear them do the new songs and stuff too. Like the one single's already out, so I knew that one, but then to hear like 2 other newer songs were cool, and the cover choices they did, and it was cool. It was neat to see them again. And Sammy Ray, I still contend, is the best performer I've ever seen in any genre and whatever.
Very cool.
Yeah, she's so entertaining. Yeah, so.
I'm going to look at a calendar for a second.
Okay.
Calendar. So this is the 19th. This episode comes out on March 19th. Yep, that's about it. That's all I got to say.
Good talk.
Good talk. So we will see you next week.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.